Why do people say break a leg when you go on stage? Because every play has a cast. Today, I'm going to recap a 2008 action thriller film called Taken. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. Ryan Nils, a former Green Beret and CIA officer, has a daughter, Kim, who lives with her mother, his ex-wife Lenore, and her wealthy stepfather, Stuart. Ryan attempts to build a relationship with his 17-year-old daughter. He gave her a karaoke machine for her 17th birthday because he knows she has wanted to be a professional singer since she was 5 years old. While Brian takes a picture of Kim, her stepfather, Stuart, shows up with his expensive horse as a birthday present for Kim. Ryan has a pained expression on his face as Kim flees towards Stuart, leaving his present behind. On that night, Brian was having a small barbecue party with his friends. One of them, Sam, asked him to join a one-night job overseeing security at a concert for pop star Shira on the following evening. Ryan asked Shira for advice on how to become a professional singer that night before the concert, realizing that his daughter aspired to be like her. During the show, Kim contacts Brian and wants to meet for lunch. There's a shambles after the concert. Brian saves Shira from a knife-wielding attacker and heads to a car. Shira gave Brian a card with 2 phone numbers on it in case his daughter Kim wishes to try out for a singing career as a way of repaying Brian for saving her. The next day, Brian sits at the restaurant, and Kim arrives with her mother Lenore. Kim is planning a vacation to Paris with her friend Amanda, but because Kim is under the age of 18, she requires permission from his father to leave the country. Brian refuses, stating that the world is too dangerous for a 17-year-old girl to travel alone, which disappoints Kim, prompting her to leave. Lenore suggested Brian to give Kim some space and simply sign the paper. Finally, Brian grants permission with some conditions. Kim is required to avoid certain areas in Paris and call him every night before bed. When taking her daughter to the airport, Brian learns that Kim lied. Kim and Amanda isn't only go to Paris. Instead, they're planning to travel around Europe following the U2 concert. Upon arriving at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, they meet a handsome young stranger named Peter who offers to share a taxi. Kim and Amanda go to Amanda's cousin's apartment, where Kim finds out that the cousins are in Spain. Peter knows where they are staying. He calls someone and tells them that he has a target: 2 American girls, 18 years old. Meanwhile, Brian calls Kim several times, but no answer. He calls Lenore, and she convinces Brian to stay calm. Brian kept calling until Kim finally answered. Brian's so worried, so he wants Kim to give every detail information about her location. During the call, Kim sees men enter the apartment and abduct Amanda. Brian records the conversation as quickly as possible, and he tells Kim to hide under the bed and listen to what he says. He wants Kim to put the phone down and shout out anything she sees about them. When she is dragged out from hiding, she yells a description of her abductor, following her father's instructions. Brian hears someone breathing on the phone and tells the listener that he will not pursue the kidnappers if they release his daughter, but warns them that refusing to accept his offer will result in their deaths. The listener only replies, "Good luck," and terminates the call. Brian rushes to Stuart's house to deliver bad news that Kim has been kidnapped. He wants Stuart to get his plane ready to fly to Paris as soon as possible. At the same time, Sam, an old friend and former colleague of Brian, informs that the kidnappers are part of an Albanian sex trafficking ring and identifies the listener as mob boss Marko Haksa. Based on previous history, Kim must be found within 96 hours, or she will likely be lost forever. Brian flies to Paris and breaks into the apartment. He tries to recreate what happened there. He notices Kim's broken phone and takes the memory card, where he discovers Peter's reflection in a photo. Furthermore, he finds Peter at the airport, trying to charm a female traveler. Brian tries to apprehend him, but he flees. Peter jumped over a bride and was killed by an oncoming truck. With his only lead dead, Brian turns to an old contact, former French intelligence agent Jean-Claude Pitrel, who now has a desk job. Jean-Claude informs him of the local red light district, where the Albanian prostitution ring operates, but warns him not to get involved. Brian hires an Albanian English translator when he arrives at Port de Clichy. He approaches one of the prostitutes and begins to annoy her until someone comes over and tells him to leave. Brian agrees, but he also installs an eavesdrop device, so he can hear what they are talking about. They're speaking Albanian, and the translator is translating everything they say until Brian gets a hint about a construction site. Brian follows them, only to discover that the location is a prostitution den at night. Brian searches a makeshift brothel in a construction yard and rescues a drugged young woman who has Kim's denim jacket. After a gunfight and high-speed chase with the brothel's operators, Brian takes the woman to a hotel, where he improvises her detoxification. The next day, Jean-Claude calls and requests that Brian leave French since he was causing too much chaos that night. During the call, Jean quietly instructed his man to track Brian's whereabouts, but Brian is too clever for Jean to find. Meanwhile, the woman Brian had saved earlier has awoken. Brian questions her about how she obtained Kim's jacket and discovers another clue to the rue de Paradis. Brian posing as Deputy Director of Internal Security using Jean-Claude's name card. He then enters the house under the pretense of renegotiating the police protection rate. When he identifies Marco, Hoxa by tricking him into saying good luck. The meeting erupts into a fight which results in the deaths of several gangsters except Marco. After finding various heavily drugged girls in Amanda's body, Brian tortures Marco with electricity. Marco reveals that virgins like Kim have high value in the black market and are quickly sold, before identifying the buyer as crime syndicate leader Patrice de St. Clair. Brian then leaves Marco to die from continuous electrocution. Brian visits Jean-Claude's apartment that evening. Having discovered Jean-Claude's corruption, Brian wounds the latter's wife to coerce him into disclosing St. Clair's location before knocking him out. Brian enters the party disguised as a police officer. Inside one of the rooms, he informs security that he is looking for St. Clair, but security informs him that his name is not on the list and that he cannot pass. Brian is forced to hit the security until he collapses. He disguises himself once more, this time as a waitress, and walks to one of the bidding chambers at the auction. Brian forces Ali, one of the bidders, to purchase Kim at any price. Someone smacked Brian's head from behind as he exited the room, knocking him out. When St. Clair learns who he is, he orders his henchmen to kill him. But Brian breaks loose and kills them all. St. Clair reveals that Kim was taken to a yacht owned by a sheikh named Rahman before Brian shot him repeatedly. Brian pursues the yacht and eliminates the bodyguards one by one, including Ali, before he finds Rahman in his suite, where he is holding Kim at knife point. When Rahman attempts to negotiate, Brian kills him with a headshot and saves her. Kim is overcome with emotion as she realizes her father has traveled such a long distance to save her. The next day, they're back home to the United States. At the end of the movie, Brian surprises Kim by taking her to visit Shira. She wants to hear Kim's voice. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy and hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. You should watch the full movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more video like this.